Hey there, my name is Michael. I am 25 years old. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. I was mainly raised in Phoenix, Arizona. My ethnic background is I'm Chaldean. Domination of religion is Catholic, so I'm Christian Catholic, Chaldean. My interests are learning about history. I love guns. I love a lot of new things that I don't understand. So I like to challenge my own mind, but I'm a very black and white personality type. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, my name is Larson. I'm 22 years old, born and raised in the sunny San Diego, California. I moved here 4 years ago to do college for no reason, but I did it. And I like to go to the gym. I like to create content. And right now, just trying to figure out where we're going with life. But this is our podcast, Chai Time.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Michael sit down and we have a cup of chai and we talk about
Stuff.
everything.
We just kind of talk about stuff, and chai itself is something that we both like to drink as we talk, and our talks are going to be pretty engaging while we drink this. And you guys probably wondering like, what is chai? So I mean, chai in our culture is like a pastime. It's almost like a drink that you always offer to someone who's coming over. So it's like, hey, we're having a conversation. You usually have chai with it, almost like a social interaction where you're kind of like drinking.
It's kind of like a beer.
Yeah, it's kind of like a beer. It's almost like alcohol, but you just don't have alcohol in it. And usually it's offered after dinners or when people come over. It's like, hey, do you want to drink chai? And then it's like it goes from there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big staple in our culture. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing,
It is, because it's like it's just no cultures that I can think of. Just like, hey, you guys want tea?
Yeah,
I think British maybe, but nothing.
Maybe even
nothing as constant as us.
Like Chinese people too. Don't they drink like green tea? Or
they do drink tea. Yeah, they do drink green tea, quite a bit of it. But I don't know. Like I don't know.
I'm not sure. All I know is whenever we go somewhere, whenever we go to someone's house, chai is offered. No matter
like
what.
A pastime almost.
Yeah.
And it's easy to make. It's nothing crazy. It takes like 5 minutes, and you just bring out like sweets.
That's it. That's sweets. Anything with it. Sweets, crackers. I mean, you walk into a house to pick something up, and your aunt's offering you chai. Like, I gotta go to work. No, just chai.
Because they want to keep you around. The only way they can is with chai, because dinner and lunch takes too long to make. So chai's like this.
Yeah, and I feel like it's almost, they think it's disrespectful if you don't
offer,
do it, right?
Yeah. If you don't offer, it's almost like, I don't want you here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like. So I mean, chai is definitely a big thing. We grew up around it all the time, still around it all the time.
Yeah, and it's a big part of our Chaldean culture, because me and him, we're both Chaldean raised, but I don't know if everyone knows what Chaldean is.
No. I mean, you want to go ahead and explain?
Yeah. So to give you the history of it, if I were to like dumb it down, basically, two brothers in the Middle East who were from the father Abraham had a dispute, and one went one way, one went the other way, and then those people who are on one side, like on one kingdom, they're part of the Babylonian Empire. They're Assyrian, and the other part was Chaldean. And most Chaldeans are like what you would compare to, like, if you were to compare an American to a British person, like a person from the UK is like an Assyrian, and a Chaldean is like an American, because they're like a new age Assyrian that broke off from the main herd. Most of us live in northern Iraq and parts of Syria. Do that live in Syria or no?
I don't think like that. Maybe now.
Just name northern Iraq.
Northern Iraq, yeah. I mean, and then in Chicago and in California and Michigan.
Big difference between Assyrians and Chaldeans. Assyrians don't speak the same as us.
No, it's
different accents, and they're also mainly Orthodox.
Yeah.
So they're not Catholic. They're Orthodox Assyrians, so they're different. Like, but they're the same. People argue about it all the time. It's like, we're Assyrian, we're Chaldean, and it's like, personally, I don't think so. I think we're separate.
Yeah.
I think we're two different types of people, because we have different ways of saying things. We have different dances. Sometimes
very different dances.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's a almost. I mean, I don't care. I meet a lot of Syrian people here.
Mm-hmm.
I go up. I'm like, hey, like, how you doing? You know, we talk, and then maybe we say something in our language, and I'm like, oh, you're Syrian. They're like, yeah. What about you? Chaldean? Who gives a shit? You know?
Yeah. Because I think a lot of times, like, what people do is like they detect it by the language.
Yeah.
So, like,
for
example,
100%.
like for example, we'll say my, they'll say like Mia.
Yeah.
Because they say it differently. So like Shlama illuk alhamdulillah dekhit. But they say like what was it like dekhit, and they say spy.
Yeah, spy. Like good. I mean good.
Like totally different way of saying things.
Yeah.
So you can tell a difference, but like when it comes down to it, like there's not crazy
the same
difference.
concepts, just different ways of doing things and saying things. But I mean,
we Chaldean.
Exactly.
That's what you're watching right now.
That's it.
You know? So where do we even start? Like, how do you talk about Chaldean like culture? How do we do things?
I mean, we can just go off with traditions. I mean, old traditions. You have stuff like arranged marriages. You know, the way the family works, the way the family used to be back in the day. Now, of course, it's different.
It's different. So when we were like our grandparents, it was normal to get married at 14 years old. Especially the girls. The girls would get married at like 14. Guys would have a girl like that at 30, and we come from a village called Alqush.
Yeah,
Alqush is not too far away from Duhok. It's like an hour away, a little bit less. Actually, less. It is less. By Duhok in Kurdistan, Iraq, and we're both called Alqushnayas. So we kind of come from like a farm town.
Yeah, because like all they do is
farm.
They farm, get married to their cousin, and have
kids. Cousin. That's another thing too. So like a big thing about it is like farm life. In Iraq at that time, it was like a big deal to have a lot of kids. So if you had like 7 or 8 kids, the neighbors were like, "Oh, you did good," because it was like, "Oh, you have a lot of kids to work the farm."
Exactly.
So all Chaldeans, at least first generation Chaldeans, they all have like
a bunch
7 or 8 uncles and aunts.
Yeah,
because their parents just kept going.
So how many aunts and uncles do you have on both sides?
Oh man, if I were to count, I have 5 uncles and aunts on my mom's side, and then I have 7 uncles and aunts on my dad's side, and that's like, and it's hard to remember because you know what else too is like,
they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's not just that, like they're so like. Not only do you have a lot of them, you got a lot of cousins with them.
Oh man!
So times that by 4 each person. You're talking like 50 cousins on each side.
Yeah, I have. On my mom's side, I have 6 uncles only. No, she had no sisters.
That's right.
Yeah, just her and 6 brothers. And then my dad's side.
How many do you have on your dad's side?
I think I have 5 or 6. 5 or 6 aunts and uncles. I'm not really sure. I don't really look over at my dad's side too often.
No.
That's just
you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but big families.
Yeah, big families, huge families. I think honestly the way that they were like was because of the war. Because like once they came over to the country and they survived like Saddam Hussein's reign, they were like, we gotta stick together. So they made these huge families where like somehow your 5th cousin removed twice by the man. And like you just go far above and beyond. You can always find a connection. They use the last name as like a dictionary. That's all.
And they use, when you go and people, they always ask you, oh, like, what's your last name? They always want to know who your family is because, that last name has some honor to it. It has like some meaning to it. Like, oh, you say you're like from this person's dad or this grandpa, they're like, oh, okay, then you're a good person. They judge you by that.
Right.
Oh, this is your grandpa, you're a good person.
Yeah,
oh, this is your grandpa, I don't want to be around you.
Yeah, they do that. If you have a certain last name they don't like, they keep away from you. Yeah. It's just how they are.
Yeah, they think it's like a curse.
A bad omen. Yeah, because a lot of times those families, once they go bad, they don't go back.
Yeah.
They're just stuck like that.
That's
one thing. So like, that's, we also do. How would you describe the weddings?
Oh, weddings are fun. I mean, weddings. If you're in the wedding, bachelor, you're there. You start in the morning. You wake up, you get ready. You're on a party bus at 10 in the morning, taking shots.
Yeah, pre-game.
You go. You take pictures, then you go to the church. You do this, that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the dances, the khigga.
12 a.m., 2 a.m.
Yeah, probably till like 2 in the morning. I mean, you're there, and It's always three. It can go from 300 people to 600 people.
Yeah, sometimes thousands if you're like a lawyer.
Oh yeah, if you have a big family, you can get up to 1,000 easy.
Yeah, easy.
And then like the traditions within it, where the wife's inside the house and the husband has to pay the dad. Yeah. Oh man,
you gotta pay.
People hate that, dude.
Yeah, they do.
I see a lot of like people commenting like, "Oh, you're selling the daughter."
Yeah,
like dude, it's like just a culture, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's people still do it. It's just not as like accepted as it used to be.
Yeah, but that's just because it's here.
Like at the same time, like it's not accepted to cut off a goat's head anymore when you get married either or engaged, because that's what they used to do. Or the lukhma, the bread, when they used to cut it.
Or the vase, when they used to like drop it. And,
Or like when your aunt takes you a shower as a girl.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff has.
Or the girls also, they would make sure that your cherry pops when you have sex for the first time to see if you're a virgin or not.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was another thing they used to do too. They had to like examine if your cherry popped to make sure that you were a legit virgin or not.
Isn't that insane? Like,
it is insane, but they still do it, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, they still do it.
Some people are crazy. I mean, imagine being a girl and like even the guy, bro. You gotta everyone watching you have sex.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's crazy, but that's how they did it.
Yeah,
that's how they did it, and like. The biggest thing for Chaldean culture is like celebrating the 7 sacraments. Yeah. So like, for example, they care about when you get baptized.
Yeah.
They care about when you do your communion, and they care about when you do your wedding. But if you get a great job somewhere, or you become the president of the United States, or you have a child, it's like there's no point in celebrating.
It's just
it happens. It happens. Part of the culture, whatever. Nothing special. But for some reason, you dip them in water. It's like, oh man, wow, okay.
Oh wow.
So that's what
I think it's just an excuse to drink, though.
Yeah, it is. But for sabahaya, for those who don't know, sabahaya is like money you get for parties.
Yeah.
But
especially weddings, man. Like when you have your wedding, you spend about 20 grand, but you do make about 25.
Oh, 20 grand is like cheap.
That's cheap.
It's like $50,000 they pay sometimes for those weddings. What are you talking about?
I heard flowers are like 10 grand or something.
Top flowers are like $25,000. So you get the fresh ones. Fresh ones. If you get fresh ones, they're like 20 grand for the whole wedding.
Flowers, my dick. Bro.
Yeah, and you know what happens most of the time with those flowers? They get taken at the end of the night anyways.
Yeah.
People take them. It's like, oh.
My mom used to take them all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, all right, well, then you take the flowers and then you go with it, but you just spend 20 grand on flowers you can't keep because they go bad.
Yeah.
If you spend 20 grand on them, you have either 2 choices. You get fake ones for cheap, or you get real ones and then they die in 3 days.
Yeah, who cares about... Man, that's crazy.
That's
bro.
one thing too about a lot of Chaldean weddings is they make them really materialistic. Everyone's trying to one up each other.
Yeah, everyone tries to one up each other.
So like the biggest thing in the 80s all the way up to now is like everybody wants to have like the same exact wedding. So like white luxury vehicles driving off on that. That was like a big deal in the 80s and 90s. Then just recently, everyone's getting these stupid like black boxes, and they shoot sparklers.
I haven't been to a wedding in a long time, so I don't know.
If you watch like weddings on YouTube or whatever, that's the new thing. Every Arab is doing that, where they have these giant black boxes about the size of like a backpack maybe or a piece of luggage, and they just shoot up. They move sparklers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they do that, and then they do drones for filming.
Oh man!
And crazy suits from like out of the country.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off for a second. You know what I've noticed? This is about weddings, but kind of off topic. The women in the wedding. If you watch a video of a wedding and everyone's dancing, they're all khigga. No one is smiling.
No one is smiling.
No one's smiling.
No one ever smiles in a wedding ever.
Why is that?
I think honestly because they're obligated to come.
Yeah.
They really don't give a shit about the bride or the groom.
Yeah.
It's just how it works is everybody in our culture guilts you. So like, for example, let's say you lived in San Diego by yourself.
Yeah.
Your parents lived here, but you have somebody in San Diego that's getting married on your dad or mom's side, and your parents can't come. They'll send you a call and say, hey, we can't come, but you got to go.
Yeah, like I'm going for them.
I'm going for them as representation of them.
Yeah.
So like people go there like, oh, and then they go and they eat. And then most of the time, I'd say like 40% of people leave after food comes.
Oh, 100%. They just care about the food and they go
home.
And even when the videos of everyone dancing, like you kind of look in the background. Like I swear, if you were to pause that video, oh my gosh, everyone's in the back, just like
Just straight
face, want to off themselves.
Because because like I said, the guilt, like they're there because they don't want to be there. They have to be there because if they're not, because okay, for example, Samir came to this wedding. His son gets married. So his the guy that he went to the wedding for, but he doesn't show up to his son's wedding, Pesha Hamisa, which means they're upset. And then he has Sabahaya too that matches what they had. So they have to show up for a couple of hours at least to go eat and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then if they don't show up, they're gonna be looked at as assholes.
Yeah.
So you have like you're stuck with
It's all a show.
It's all a show. You're stuck eating like 50 pounds, like $50 like food. But it's really like $10 at McDonald's, and you go over there and you
It's
eat.
honestly not that good.
It's not that
what do you think about wedding food?
Wedding food is
Like, wedding food is
a lot of the times they make food that's in the hall.
Oh, I know, and it's terrible. Like, what do you usually get? The fish, chicken, or
Steak?
the beef? Oh, the beef.
The beef always, because the beef is the best one. The chicken they always have is like a little
The
bland.
fish isn't bad.
Fish isn't
It matters
bad.
where you're at. Sometimes that fish slaps. I don't know, maybe because I drink so much and I'm like, oh, food, you know?
Yeah,
But,
I'm not that much of a drinker. But when it comes to like certain food, yeah, like I went to weddings long ago in the Lux, and they had steak and all that. It was good, but like the place was like over the top, like expensive. You can just tell that they spent well over three like 6 digits on the wedding, because they had the flower bill, if I'm not wrong, was like $30K.
Just for the flowers.
Just for the flowers, because they put them in the ETA in the church, and they put them in the wedding, and then they had a whole wall the size of this flowers thing of just flowers. They had the sparklers. They had a smoke machine. They had a white Rolls Royce. They had a white Rolls Royce from the 70s. Pulled them out of the church and back into the hall. They had a camera crew. They had like a giant ice sculpture.
What?
With their names encrypted in it, and it was
that's insane.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on it, a lot of money, and it was just a one-up because he was, I think he was like a lawyer. I don't know what it was. All I know is that wedding was like way over the top, and it had like decent food, but the price you probably tell was a lot,
insane,
and just to show, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly had gone through a lot of different like weddings. They're all different, and everyone always does their own thing. But like, I'll be honest, like I just went to a wedding not too long ago in Flagstaff. It was non-Chaldean.
Okay.
It was not like our thing, so it's like all right. But the thing is they did have like almost like better catering. Yeah. Because they had like a local pizza place make your own personal pizza.
Yeah, like
I know it's like not fancy or whatever,
but it's good.
It's good.
Yeah,
you know, just not our style. We're just not used to that type of wedding, like outdoorsy.
I went to my friend. He got married in last October. I went down to San Diego.
San Diego.
In San Diego. Yeah, I went down there, and they had the wedding in a ranch.
Okay.
And so I pulled up. You know, they had the ceremony, like they brought the priest there on the ranch, and they were doing the thing, you know, and I kind of pulled up, and that lasted about 20 minutes.
No service, or was it a church?
It was like a service. It was like a church service, but it was outside.
So was it an ordainer or a priest?
Yeah, it was a priest.
Okay.
And you know, they got it from the church we used to go to there.
Yeah.
And after that, they're like, okay, like, grab your chairs and go to the table. I was like, okay. So I grab my chair. I'm walking to the table.
Oh, so it was like hinky dink.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, but and then, you know, they had your names. You had an assigned seat, which is, I don't know. It doesn't really usually. It's not like that. You know, you just kind of pick a table. You usually pick a corner table. You know.
I went to a wedding like that too, where they had assigned seats. I just thought that was weird.
Yeah.
I think it's really weird to assign a seat. Like, we're not in school.
Yeah, I don't know, but it lasted about, like, I got there around 5, ended around 8:39.
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of how it is with weddings nowadays too. And baptisms are kind of similar a little bit. Like, they have the same style. So you go to the service.
Yeah.
They get their communion. They get confirmed.
Yeah.
And then you go to a little hall, and then it's confirmed.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then they go to a hall. You sit. You drink. You eat. They do a dance. You go home. The only thing that is different is a ta'ziyah or a funeral. Because I don't know if you've ever been to one before.
I've never been to one.
So here's how they do a ta'ziyah. It's kind of crazy. So what they do is somebody dies. Obviously, that's step one. And then what happens is the family rents a hall. And usually the oldest male of the family leads the family after that. And what happens is they basically get this hall together, and the family itself lines up.
Then you have to like go, you
Shake your hand, and you throw a little sabahiyya in there too. A little bit of money to help out with the funeral.
Yeah.
And you go there, and you just look at these people just crying, and you sit there, and you like, oh, well, I'm seeing this guy. And then the priest comes, and they bless it, and then they go to the funeral service.
Yeah.
Not allowed to wear anything but black.
No, yeah, all black, yeah.
And depending on how you are, like for me personally, I like depending on how close the person is, I wear black.
40 days.
Like I wear black depending on how close I am to the person. Like it's supposed to be 7 days, like the day, 7 days, 40 days. I think it's like, and then a year. So like 7 days, 40 days, a year, and then you can choose. But like I wore, like for example, my grandmother passed away. When she passed away, I wore black for a good amount of time because I was close with her.
Yeah. But
like another rule about it, which is sort of like changing, is like you're not allowed to celebrate shit.
No, yeah. 1 year, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
1 year, no birthday, Christmas, New Year, nothing. Doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if you just made like X amount or you achieved your greatest goal ever. You can't celebrate that.
Can't celebrate it.
No,
can't do it.
You just got to sit there with a straight face. You can't be seen celebrating anything, or people will look at you and be like,
birthdays.
What are they doing? They're not allowed to be celebrating, you know? But personally, I don't do it. Yeah. I don't believe in it. Personally, when somebody dies for me, I give myself about 2 days max, and then I move on. I mean, it's tough, but like,
it depends on how close you are on the person.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not like that, but like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like when my grandparents died, it was just, I wasn't too close to it. I used to be when I was a kid. I was close. I grew up and kind of grew apart, but it was just like it's a tough. Death is a tough concept, you know. You kind of, it happens, and then it's like you can't really do much about it, but you're still sad. So it's like it's very mentally. Like, it's mentally challenging in a way.
Yeah, because we don't believe in reincarnation like some cultures do. Like, we don't believe in the idea that they turn into like a butterfly or something. They're dead, they're not coming back.
Exactly.
So it's like, for us, like, it's like, I always say, Alam Hasela, which is like, God bless their soul. You answer back, Hasemito.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, they're dead.
That's it.
They ain't coming back. You better weep. So it's like, to me, it's just, I don't know, like, I just feel like it's a big respect thing.
Yeah.
Like just wearing black. But the celebration thing, I wouldn't. I'm not here to like stay miserable for a whole year.
Exactly.
Because like would they have done it for me? Yeah.
Probably not.
No, I mean honestly, they're old. If they're old, yeah, Allah, Allahu Akbar. We'll bring this back up later, but anyways,
a little budget.
Little budget. It was the first episode. You can't call us out and try it, right? But anyways, what we were trying to like convey is like how the culture, I guess you could say, was, and then how we, like our background in culture, and then like how it became. So like, you tell me about your background and how you were like, be honest, like how it was.
My background within the culture, not like my personal background, but more within with
how were you raised?
Within the culture. I mean, in the beginning, it was definitely very strict. Very strict.
So,
like, you don't leave the house unless you go to school. You know, you don't have friends unless they're, you know, Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
You don't go to your friend's house. They don't come over.
You don't come over.
If they come over, they're going to rob and steal and kill you. That's what they thought. That's how they thought. Yeah.
Because you know what it was? I feel like it's because a lot of those like Chaldeans in our family especially watched too much TV.
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein made it look like every person in the United States was a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. And so like growing up in school, it was definitely tough. But then and then my dad was the typical Arab dad. Store, you didn't really see him often, just always working. Didn't really have connection with him. So it was like my mom was the one raising, and she started to kind of adapt to the American culture, the American way, I guess. And as I grew and went into middle school, I would go to Christian church too. I wouldn't go. We weren't raised Catholic. We were raised Christian, so
Yeah.
that was also kind of different. We were more around. We did go to an Arabic Christian church, but it was
still
split with
Christian.
it. It was split with an American church as well.
Oh yeah.
So it was like you had the Arabic church here, and then like it was in the same church.
Yeah.
So me, I would go to the American church, because when I was a kid, I would go to the little groups they had and stuff. So I did end up making friends, and like at first I was only hanging out with Middle Eastern people, but then obviously
that was the one that you're approved to hang out with.
exactly.
Your parents.
And my mom got very lenient, and as I went into like high school, it was like, go do whatever the hell you want, bro. Like it was like yeah, you text. It was more very lenient, like compared to other Middle Easterns, my other Middle Eastern friends. I had a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
I know it's still the same with Middle Eastern parents. They're very strict. They don't let you leave the house.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to anything like if you're a female and another male, oh my gosh.
Oh
man,
dead.
they don't like that. And so
you're dead.
yeah, so with me, I mean, as I was the only guy child, so with me it was just kind of like, go figure it out. Good luck, be a man. That's it. Like that's how I was kind of brought in with the culture, and I also grew up around a lot of weddings. Family gatherings were always fun.
Yeah.
You have all your uncles come over, uncles and aunts. You guys. There's big table of food from like
everywhere,
this and that, and oh my gosh, the food
never
they
ends.
make, dolma, bacha,
always leftovers.
Oh my
always
gosh.
leftovers.
And
another thing with Chaldean culture, you cannot leave your plate empty because then they'll think the store you're still hungry.
They think the food is not good.
Yeah, they think the food's not good, so you don't want a second. Mine's a bit different. Yeah. I mean, so when I was in Detroit, in Sterling Heights, Flint, whatever. Like when I was younger, I did have like one white friend that was my neighbor. We used to play this game. It was like you drop a silver ball, and it goes.
Oh yeah.
It was because my next door neighbor, and they were really nice. Beyond that, it was like you only hang out with your cousins. Like my family was very like down, black, and like pretty like straightforward about it. Like you don't hang out with anybody besides cousins or like a Chaldean that we know, not but we know their parents.
Their parents, their aunts,
because they were like,
cousins,
if we keep them like, if they keep themselves like closer to Chaldeans they don't approve of, it's like, oh, they're gonna get bad habits from them because how they are.
Yeah, that was big.
So that's how it was. So they're like, what's their last name? Well, what's your last name?
Bimenile.
Bimenile. Is it like Saswara or whatever it's called, like something random? That's how they were. So how I was upraised is like when I was in Michigan, it was like my cousins were priority. Always hung out with all the cousins that I had, even if they were a lot older than me.
Yeah.
Then I left to Michigan. I didn't have many cousins. The only ones I really had were like 3 or 4 of my cousins, and then a couple of them left, and I only had like 2, and then 1 left, and that was it. So like when I moved to Phoenix, I was like alone. Like I had
nobody.
I moved to Phoenix in 2002, and I want to say like not discrimination or anything, but like the amount of like
there weren't many of us here.
There wasn't. It was like straight up. I was like one Middle Eastern kid, 300 like white kids.
You were like the terrorist
and one black guy. That was and like maybe a couple Mexicans. That was the whole school. That was the entire school.
So you were the bomb threat.
That was like the if you ever watch Ed and Eddie, like the Ralph, the guy with the blue hair, like the weird one that nobody knows where he's from, but he's there. So it's like, oh, ask him the weird questions. He knows where the weird stuff's at.
Yeah.
Like that kind of guy.
But you had a bomb in your backpack.
Right, that kind of stuff. The amount of like, I guess you could say like, I got some bullying and I was like put to a corner, but I was by myself for quite a while when I was a kid. But that was because like my parents always told me like, be with people who are us, who are us, who are us.
Yeah.
And then there's nobody there. It's like, all right, I guess I'm by myself.
Yeah.
as I grew, I made friends, and then I ended up getting into high school. My parents were still strict. Mine was straight up, you don't go out, you don't talk to nobody, you come home, or we'll hit you with a sandal. And that's just how it was.
I hate that type of raising.
Yeah, and as I was 15 years old, my parents were like, okay, 1 hour. 1 hour you go out after school.
Oh my God.
McDonald's, whatever you want. McDonald's, take $2. Do not spend more the whole dollar.
Like an Asian, bro.
That's just, it's going somewhere, but you do not spend more than $1, and you come back home quick. I was okay. So I was like, oh, okay, 1 hour. And then it was like the curfews, because for some reason, like your parents always think if you're not in the house, you're doing drugs.
Yeah,
that's how it was. Like every single time,
exactly.
And it's like we're not, and it's like, oh,
you weren't.
Yeah.
We'll talk about my high school days later on.
yeah, we can talk about that in a different episode. But no, I'm a squeaky clean whistle, but my parents never believed me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like I embraced the culture a lot in my late teens, especially when I was in college. And I'm still like pretty deep into the culture as well, but I've like modernized a little bit. Like I don't believe in every single thing they do nowadays. Or like I have a lot of things that are different when it comes to their output, their input, like how they look at things. They're very closed-minded. They don't look at things openly. They're very and you can't like
talk tunnel vision.
And you can't talk to them.
Hell no.
Because they're like, well, I've done this back in Iraq.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Talking to a liberal.
Yeah. Anyway, every time, imagine a reverse liberal. It's just like if you had someone who just remove the blue hair, remove the dumb shirts, remove the soy milk. You have
the estrogen.
They remove the estrogen. You have a conservative who has a liberal mindset of I don't listen to anything that anybody said except for me. Yeah. So I only count with my opinions.
No, that's how it is. But so with how was the store as a kid? I know your dad. He had you grew up in store. We both grew up in the store life. Both our dads had stores. The shopping, the being there,
Yeah. So like the store life is honestly like, I lived that. I lived that. Oh my God. So my dad had a store in Detroit. He had a store in Detroit. Then he has a store in Phoenix. But I lived. So let me think. 25 now. When I was like 10, 11 years old, the 2008 crisis started. So like I had to be put in the store at a really young age, and I was working there almost every day because it was so bad.
No employee, you had to do something. You had to help out.
You had to, and you learned everything about like how store life went. You had to learn how to roll quarters and pennies and dimes. You had to deal with a lot of crazy customers. A lot. You learned how people shopped because you spent more time with customers than you did with your own family.
Yeah,
and store life I was working the store till I was like 15 years old almost, and I was working at I later worked at like McDonald's and everything like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I was working in the store for a very, very long time, and I still used to periodically show up and work here and there, but it was like a long time. I haven't worked there in a long time. Things have changed, but store was like everything, because I don't know how you were, like how your dad was, but my dad would make me and my brothers jump in a van. We have to go shop to places and load up the van and then drive all that stuff all the way down to the store and load up the store. So it was either sodas or it was like tobacco. And the worst part was like our dads did not get high class SUVs. They got like the cheap stuff they got on Craigslist. So you were running through. You were in California, I'm in Arizona, but we're still hot. So it's like July heat, and you're running through trying to get this milk from the store to the other store, and it's like melting. And you're trying to get there ASAP, and if you don't get there, it might spoil. Store life is like, I want to say at least 40% of our lives. Like just everything.
When I moved here, my dad had a store in Phoenix, a beer and wine, and he had no one. He didn't have a worker, so it was me. It was in the ghetto. You know where it was.
Yeah, it was not too far away from that railroad.
Yeah, so it was very, very ghetto.
Yeah.
But I would do a lot of his shopping. I would go Walmart. I would have to walk around 2 carts.
Yep.
Fill 2 carts up.
I remember
Pulling
that.
one, pushing one.
2 carts. You had to fill up the whole thing, and they would make you do it separate because they used to give you limits on how much you could buy.
Yeah, exactly. So you go, and then remember when you used to be able to price match?
Yep.
Oh man, those receipts would go from here
all
to
the
here.
way down to here, and it would all be like, it was all like price match adjusted, and then they started bringing the magazines in the store.
Yeah.
So they didn't believe you're in price match.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember.
Oh
those
yeah.
days.
So the shopping was, I hated it. I mean, I was a high schooler. I was a junior in high school. I didn't want to go to Walmart for 4 hours in a day and shop.
No.
No. But you had to do it.
Yeah.
We would go to multiple Walmarts a day, or Fry's, clear out these sections, clear them. And it would take up your whole day. You'd drive it to the store, fill it. You got to go in the fridge, fill the fridges, fill the aisles. Run register for a little bit while they go to the bathroom, because they can go to the bathroom. They can't close up shop.
Yeah,
and
you have to keep it open.
Yeah, and then you got to sit there with them. It goes nighttime. So you're like, what, I'm just gonna stay because it's night. Dangerous. And the people. The worst part for me was the people that you had to deal with. I mean, currently I work in a liquor store.
Yeah,
I'm still in the store life. You know, it's a little different now, but I do work in a liquor store. But the people are
different.
It's just like you drive 25 minutes away, and you're in a whole new world.
Yeah,
like these people, like the stories are crazy. Like the people you deal with come in. Everyone, for some reason, everyone wants to fight you.
Yeah, everyone. You know what? The one thing they always fight about too is like money and how you give it back to them.
Yeah.
So like if you give somebody let's say someone owes $1.03.
Yeah.
They'll get upset if you give 97 cents back. They just say, just give me $20. Like, it's like, no, dude, you got to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I ain't paying taxes. And it's like, okay, so what do you want me to do?
$3.
Like, give me 3 cents. It's like, no. And they make a huge argument. And if you have a line, they'll back up that whole line for 3 cents.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they are. And those people are the same people sometimes who bring nothing but change.
Oh, man. The change is, bro, the dirtiest shit ever.
Yeah.
They come in, yo, let me get those cigarettes right there. Yeah, okay, cool. $10. Like sticky ass black change.
You can't even tell what the cool coins are.
Yeah, that's $10.
Yeah, it's like they just but then they don't count it in front of you. They expect you to count it.
Yeah,
and then you have to touch whatever secretion.
Oh
got on
man,
those coins.
I mean, I probably had like 8 in my hands before.
We had one time my dad would not work out. He brought quarters, nickels, and like pennies to buy one thing of steel reverse.
Those are like $150, bro.
Dude, my dad had the gag because the thing smelled like fish.
Oh, bro, it was probably in like some hooker's vagina.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised, because that's that type of crowd,
bro. Yeah,
that was that type of community. It's like strip clubs,
dirty, bro.
Dirty strip clubs, smoking, like those things that are like so degenerate, like practices are what attracted those kind of people, and that's why they're in the hood anyways.
Yeah, because that's where you make the money.
But you have to go out there. You have to go out there because, like, stores. The big thing about Chaldean stores is that they go to places that are not around Walmarts, Targets. They're not there. It's like Costco doesn't exist in that area.
Hell no.
You go into that really bad neighborhood and you'll make great money, but you will have to have a gun on your side.
Oh, all the time.
And most of these stores have plexiglass, or they'll have like some form of protection on them physically. Some of them don't, and that's because they feel comfortable in neighborhoods. But everywhere's different. Like everywhere
is different. I mean, right now where I work currently, it's
plexiglass or no?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
We freeballing. We have the COVID cover.
So the plastic film?
Yeah. So because when COVID happened, we put it up.
Yeah.
And then whatever, we'll keep it.
Yeah.
So So
That's your bullet protection.
that is, but I keep a Glock 43X on my hip. So
Do you?
yeah, fully loaded, locked, hollow point round. You know.
So you're trying to take out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm down for it. But when they first moved in that area in the store that I'm at now, it was pretty bad with the people because they were used to the old owners, which would let everything slide because they were too scared. And we came in, and we got. I mean, we got people right, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we were going around the counter, like when people would try to steal. We go on the counter three. I mean, like we're us three, and we're like pretty much jumping this guy, and like people are watching it, and they see like, oh shit,
yeah, like
we're not, we don't want to do it. We don't want to steal. So I mean, you have to do that though, and now we're like, people know, like, okay, don't mess with them
because a lot of times when the cops show up, they're like, oh, thanks, you did a job for us.
Oh man, you want to hear a story? So this is my uncle. Some guy took a bag of chips and candy and walked out. My uncle goes out, hey, you stole. I need my stuff back. He's like, no, you can call the cops. No. He comes back in. He grabs he guy in the head.
Wow.
Boom. The guy calls the cops on my uncle. My uncle comes back. He's like, what do you mean? That guy stole from me, and I just wanted my stuff back. Why did he call the cops on himself? And the cops kind of like look over at him, like look. He's like down. They took him away. They kind of look over at him. They look at my uncle. My uncle's like, "Can I get my chips back?" And he was like, "They're like, you know what? Sorry about that, sir. Do you want to write a report on him?"
Yeah.
He filed some report on him, and I think the guy went to jail for like a year or something.
You know why I think too? Because those kind of people in those communities, they don't leave. So cops know them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Cops know him.
They know him.
They know him.
They know him by name.
They don't even question what he does. So like, the same thing happened to my dad when he first moved to Phoenix. Like the first thing that was happening, like week 3 of opening the store.
Yeah.
Like stealing was a big deal, and he only had like himself, and maybe one dude that showed up. But like he had one dude that showed up. He straight up put this dude was like a fat dude, like fat motherfucker. He took 4 Locos or whatever it was, and some Hawaiian like chips or whatever, something like that. Yeah. Put it inside of his like shirt in front of my dad. Like he didn't even like care.
Yeah.
My dad got pissed. He walked out. He was ready to go all out on this dude. And dude's like, what are you gonna do about it? It's like, call the cops. It's like, I don't need to call the cops. He's like, you're gonna give me back what I'm gonna give you, what you took from me now.
Yeah.
And he had to do that for like 6 months to get the neighborhood to understand you don't steal from my store. And God forbid, but like there has never been an issue. He's never had any issue whatsoever. There are thieves here and there still. Yeah. But like there's almost never an issue at the store. The community knows. Yeah,
the thing is we're a liquor store in like a pretty busy area. So people do come through that are new. It's not very it's very neighborhoody, but also not. So you have a lot of people that come in, and we don't let a lot of things slide. Like if you come into our store and you're screaming on the phone, get out.
Yeah.
We don't let anything slide. You know? And then people get pissed.
You can't.
No, yeah, they get pissed. What you mean get out? I'm your customer. What do you mean get out? Yeah. And we're like, we don't want any of your business. Get out of the store.
Yeah.
And they argue back and forth. Oh, you need to call the cops. Oh, blah blah blah. They don't leave, and then
And that's because of companies like Walmart.
Yeah.
Because Walmart lets them get away with it.
Yeah.
So they just do it. Because like, oh, what are we gonna do about it? Like, I'm gonna be fine, and I'm gonna have I'll call a lawyer. But like, Walmart, Target, Circle K, QT, they let you get away with it, sure. But like, we won't. That's our actual pocket money.
Yeah, and you know what the problem? Another problem is when 2 customers start arguing in the store. That is.
Oh, I haven't had that yet.
Because
what is that?
This one time, this guy, he comes in, and this girl and her boyfriend were standing. I was helping them, and he goes behind them, and this guy turns around. The other guy's standing there. He's not doing shit. He's just standing there. Minding the guy with his girl turns around. Hey man, what you looking at? You looking at my girl? And he's like,
so he's like insecure.
He's like, nah, bro. What do you mean? I'm not looking. And then instantly started screaming. I was like, I just started yelling. I was like, hey, you two, take that pussy shit outside. I don't want that in my store. oh man, no, I'm just, this guy looking at my girl, this, that. I was like, get out of my store, deal with it outside, because a lot of times these people will shoot each other in the store. They'll they get mad. In Arizona, everyone has a gun.
Yeah.
They'll start shooting. I don't want that happening in my store. I don't want to get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
I don't care if you two die, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get caught.
My dad had that in Detroit, actually. So my dad was in a store in Detroit for a while. There were these two kids, like really, really young kids. And they grew up in that store. They kept coming back and forth. And now I get what you're saying. Yeah, they did argue in the store. And my dad was trying to sell the store.
Yeah.
At the time they were selling the store, these two guys kill each other inside the store.
In the store?
In the store. So the value of the store went down by like 33%. Yeah, because losses and leaves.
Yeah,
because it was that bad. Now I understand what you mean. There's never been a situation like that where arguments have happened, but no, I get what you're talking about. I know what you exactly mean when it comes to like total.
Like you have to be in control.
You have to be in control, or people will take advantage of it. And that's the worst part. Oh yeah, that's the worst part about it, because they do take advantage. They keep going, and if you keep letting them steal or yell at you or try making the rules, they'll do it because no one's gonna stop them, because they know, oh, he's a pussy.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
let him take what you want.
That's the one big thing. Is like you can't be showing out as a pussy.
Yeah,
that's it. Like even if you, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. There's times where I'm sitting in the store like I'm kind of nervous. Like I get nervous sometimes, because I mean, it's also maybe a little like excitement in me. Yeah, I love that. I love that stir
like a little bit of adrenaline rush.
Yeah, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, this guy, who knows what he has, won.
Yeah.
These people, they don't give a shit about their life. And the one thing you never want to do is fight someone that doesn't give a shit about their life. Yeah. They will die for anything.
Yeah.
So that's the type of people you deal with in the store. And then a lot of the crackheads, too.
I've never gotten nervous in front of a customer. I have gotten like extremely mad and had to have been stopped by somebody in the store. So there was a time where, like, tell me this. You go to a gas station, Circle K, whatever it is, and you get sodas. You keep the phone with you. You go to another gas station and they charge you for a refill, right?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't do that.
Yeah. Long story short, we had a fountain in the store, like a soda fountain. Girl comes up, white girl comes up. She goes and says, "Hey, I'm gonna get this soda. It's like $1. We sold it for $1. All right, cool. We got it for $1. Go. Let's go. All right, whatever. Cool." She leaves. Comes back. 50-cent refill. You're gonna get a whole thing of refill. Cool. 50 cents. She makes a hissy fit to me. She's telling me, my dad, that we're fucking crooks, like that, like we're a bunch of bullshit. And I'm like, okay, whatever, okay. But she was leaving. At the time, I was very sensitive about like my racial thing. I don't care anymore. But like I was very sensitive about my racial status and like my ethnic background. You know how they are. They leave the store talking to shit.
They always say the worst things walking out, and then once they see you come around the corner,
they get scared.
They're like, hell no.
She was yelling outside of her friend's car, "Go back to your country, Haji." Everything you think of, every single thing that you can think of, she said it to us.
Yeah.
I turned red. And I was grabbing onto the handle, and my dad just kept saying, no. Don't do it. Let him go. Let him go. He had a bat that I had in my hand.
Yeah.
I sat at that door for like 2 minutes, and she just kept going. And my dad just kept telling me this. And you know how like pissed I was?
Yeah.
But I listened because I was like, she's probably.
Oh yeah.
Because she's got all those blemishes of.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Fine.
Dude, yes. Crackheads. Speaking of crackheads, the other day we had bushes on the side, and we used to have these crackheads that lived in them.
Bushes?
Yeah, they were like bushes, probably like this big, this tall. They would literally
live inside of them.
Yeah, like you would see it, like they would like fall into them. I don't know. They had a whole like economy in there or something. But we we did like
centers. So they like trade goods.
I don't know, bro. Like I went to throw, I went around the back to the trash away one time.
Yeah.
And there's this crackhead guy, Jack. And I literally was like, all right, bro.
Jesus.
So, but besides that point, we cut the bushes because we don't want these crackheads living in there. You know how many
We're in there?
we found? Yeah,
How many?
so many. Because they've been there for years. Like years, they've been there for
And
like...
no one cleans them up because nobody sees them.
No, yeah, no one cares. No one cares. You're...
Wow, you work in a bad neighborhood.
Yeah, there's need... Because we had our customers, we had them do it for us, and they came in, they're like, yo, we found a lot of and like all this other stuff, like the pipes they use for the put the stuff in and burn it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, bro, that's the overall about the store. The people you deal with, it's trash, but that's all we know coming from America.
That's all we were raised
from,
by, right off. Because most people, because like we were born in the U.S., but our parents were right off. So like all we knew was store life, and all they kept telling us was to be were lawyers and doctors, because they had no idea how school worked.
Yeah, they didn't get.
So all they know is store life. So like they had really bad advice for us sometimes when it comes to like education and jobs. 100%. Unless the parents were Americanized or kind of like up to speed with how it works in the country, it would just, well, do this. I heard somebody else did it.
Yeah.
That's how it was. So you had to figure things out your own. Like I had to figure a lot of things out sometimes on my own. And like the idea is if I took my parents' advice, sometimes it would fail.
Yeah,
a lot of them would fail because Chaldeans naturally are scared of everything.
They are. That's very true. And then they put those values on their kids, and then their kids are scared.
And their kids get scared,
and then their kids end up doing the same shit. So that's why it's like
a cycle.
Exactly, but when you realize like, yo, this is happening.
Yeah.
You kind of just try to break away from that.
And you and I kind of the big similarity between us cultural-wise is that we broke out that cycle.
Yeah, like that cycle is a scary cycle because you just being growing up in the Chaldean house, you're very taken care of. I'm not gonna lie. You were always fed. You always had a house, roof, you never were around like drugs or like a lot of alcohol. Like, you hear all these kids, they're like, oh yeah, my parents are alcoholics, or like, some people they grew around like something like that, being in those houses. But that's a good thing about growing up Chaldean is you had these morals and traditions that were very against that stuff. So you weren't, and you never grew up terrible. Yeah, maybe the parenting was very bad. Yeah. Because,
they thought it was still Iraq here in the U.S.
Exactly. But it's like...
And things have changed, too. Like what you're saying, like you were kept out of a lot of stuff. Because the thing is the same thing with the guilt thing I was talking about. Yeah. Like, if somebody hears your dad's an alcoholic, the whole neighborhood knows about it. And they put you down. No one wants to be around you. So they stay away from you. So you fix the problem because you want the family back.
Exactly.
But now, like, things have changed. So for example, like, Chaldeans in general have all shifted to, if it economically benefits me now, I'll do it. Yeah. And if I'm Chaldean when I choose to be, and I'm American when I choose to be, when it favors me. So, like, for example, like, we can just like blow it, like just reveal it. It's not like it's new news, but 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if you were caught with a marijuana leaf, a shisha in any kind of way, the next day you backyard. Yeah. That's how it was.
Yeah, they did not.
That's how it was. Yeah. Now you have Chaldeans who are straight doing a business on this stuff. Yeah. And it changed because everyone was like, oh, there's a license. Yeah, and that's how it became.
They make a lot of money.
And they make a lot of money. It's like, oh, okay, it's okay now. But like, we had this morality before. Yeah. And then same thing like what you said earlier with the funerals. Like before it was like, you celebrate something and then a year after someone dies. Now it's like, we do 40-day. Yeah. And then we sometimes still go to weddings.
Or they'll be like, if they don't want to do something, they had a family member that usually died. Oh, yeah, I can't because... one more year.
I can't go to this person's communion because somebody died, but 6 months later they'll go to a wedding.
Yeah, and it's like, what?
If you're gonna keep it all, why do you choose which one works for you?
Of course,
Chaldeans, they're different in different parts of the country too.
Yeah, that is true.
So, like one thing, for example, a Chaldean, Like you can see a lot of Chaldeans in Michigan. They all wear the same thing.
Yeah.
Short, black shorts, white shirt, gold chain.
Yep.
That's usually how it is. And most likely in the marijuana business,
Yep.
that's how it was. But things have changed, especially like marriage stuff. Like we still really are biased towards Chaldeans. Like we don't want you to marry someone who isn't Chaldean or who isn't like, we don't know them. Before, when we were kids, our older cousins in their 20s and 30s in the 2000s were being told like you can't marry somebody outside the village.
Yeah, well, you have to marry your second cousin.
Yeah, that was another thing too. Like this is
any cousin.
Dumb theory as well. If you marry someone who is not your
mom's side,
if it's not your dad's side, you won't have inbred children.
Yeah, so
that was the ideology of that.
Yeah, so if you do want to get with your cousin, as long as they're on your mom's side, go for it.
Yeah, that was like the idea, and they're like trying to sanitize the idea that it's okay, it's just a third cousin from your mom's side. They're not in with the genes.
Yeah. They have the same last name as me, but it's okay.
That's how it is, and obviously we're throwing flack to some people that we know.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, that's just how it is, and we're just not like that.
No,
we were put into it by our parents, and we probably thought for a minute like, oh yeah, it's okay, it's normal. But then as we grew, it's like, wait a minute,
like,
this is stupid.
It's kind of weird.
This is weird, right? So to me, things have changed. Like family used to be huge and tight knit. All of a sudden, you're hanging out with all the people.
Yeah.
And things change, and we're all different. Like everybody's a little bit different. Like at least me being raised here, I didn't have many Chaldean people, and all the Chaldean people here, a lot of them were like weirdos.
Yeah.
So you couldn't mingle with them. You couldn't talk to them. They were doing their own things. And 90% of people who are here are Syrian.
Yeah, that is true too.
So like that's one thing. But another thing is you go back to places like Michigan or like Al Cajon, they are totally different from what we were raised on. Because when we came to these parts of the country, our parents kept it old school, but the world was moving forward while we were staying the same.
Yeah.
So things change. Like people change their morality. And, like before, it was considered eba or shy or shame for a guy to wear ripped pants.
Yeah. Now
it's different. Now it's same thing with girls. Like girls still get that bias.
Yeah,
where it's like they're not allowed to do that at all. Like they can't, but like they still like have those biases, and now it's like a game. Like morally, Chaldeans were like not allowed to do any kind of surgery whatsoever for cosmetic reasons. Now you got girls who like they got balloons stuck in their lips, and like it's like now it's like Botox, just do it. It's normal. It's like all of a sudden they just started to follow this trend of cosmetic surgeries that were like crazy beyond the idea. Like you basically became what you see on social media, and that was as a form of shame. Like you should not change what God made you, but to them it was like, no, let's just start doing it. Yeah, and that was the thing that started. Like I don't know if you know some people who were like that, heavy Botox, but I knew.
Oh yeah, I know people that have their face like pulled back like this, and then their
John
nose.
Rivers looking.
Yeah, and their nose. They used to look like mine, but now it's like whoop.
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
And their lips are like, and they walk around with their like fake tits out.
Yeah, like, all the time. Yeah, because they want to look good at the haflas. That's all.
Yeah, but they
look at the haflas and the gadas and all that.
They look like Michael Jackson with big titties.
And exactly, and the worst part about it too, Insha women, they see one girl like that.
Oh, they
do the same thing or more. So it becomes a chain reaction.
Yeah.
So the man comes home from driving a truck for 30 hours a day, and then he works at the store, almost gets shot 2 times, and he's coming back with money to pay for the bills, and she's like, "Give me the Botox. I want Botox," and it's like $1,000, whatever it is. I don't know
Yeah.
Then they spend that money, and they look good at the party, while the Chaldean guy looks like me, average dude.
And so they're like, "Well, how did he get hurt?"
Right.
Like, well, that's not her, bro.
Massive surgeries.
A lot of with titties.
Exactly what it is. Exactly. So like things change, and do I agree with the direction of Chaldean? No, I don't.
Overall,
I don't. No, I think the only thing that some things have changed for the better is that some Chaldeans have become a little more open-minded to things that are not bad.
Yeah, that they deemed as bad because it's not normal for them. But it's like, well, you marry your cousin and then have kids, so like, what is normal to you? You know what I'm saying?
But the thing that they haven't let go is the drama.
Oh, they
They'll
love
sit with the
that
drama because their lives are
man.
boring. They have it all good. They're not running to go get food anymore from like the village across the street, like the country.
Now it's like they go to Walmart, come back, they're like, well, what do we do now? Oh, let me
Right.
call my sister and talk shit about this guy.
Yeah, or like they'll be like, "Hey, you bought the doma, we'll make doma." And
Oh,
they sit there
they sit
and they
there.
talk shit about how to do things in rice because they're like they always make doma and they make sure the guys aren't there and they're
Yeah,
all sitting there rolling in like, "Hey, did you hear about that?"
They're like, oh yeah, look, my husband doesn't do this.
Don't do this, do that. He played the casino.
Yeah.
His daughter is a game.
Oh, did you see this person's son? How he's marrying this girl?
Yeah,
she's ugly.
She's
That.
ugly. She's fat.
And it's like, bro, you're 300 pounds.
Yeah.
You're eating half the doma before it's cooked.
And on top of that, you make chai just so you can eat half the baklawa. That's all it was. You did not invite people for chai to have chai. You wanted to whip out the baklawa and not feel bad about doing it.
Yeah. Like,
so your fat ass saw your plate of dolma or plate of baklawa. You know your husband was going to give you shit. You're just eating that. So you're like,
by yourself.
Let me invite my first cousin for chai.
Nah, you just want to eat baklava, you fat hoe.
And your fupa looks like pacha. So you straight up is like, that's how it is. They talk shit about girls like, she put some weight on her leg. But then they're sitting there like, oh man, this culeche is good. That's how it is. So it's like, I don't know what you want to call it, like a reputation game.
It's all like looks for them. I mean, that's what that's the thing they're scared of too, is what is this person going to say about this?
Yeah.
What is this person going to say about me? When I tell them what happened here, what are they going to say? Are they going to be like judging about it?
Yeah.
To me, I wish that was no more. I don't care about what people say about me. I'll do whatever, I don't care. But then you have, the old generation, my parents and stuff, they're like, oh, we can't do this because these person can say this, these person say that,
Yeah, which I'm like that. That's somewhere where we differ, you and I. Because like I'm really into like rep because I want to be respected. I don't want to be looked at as like a clown. But
I think
sometimes they just make up a reason to put down.
I think you can be respected and still not care about what people think about you and about your rep. I think you can create your own rep without. Because, okay, listen, when you care about what people think about you, it's like it's building their rep, not your rep.
Right.
When you don't care about what these people think, you respect yourself, you work on yourself, and you build yourself, then people at the end, they're going to be like, oh, shit, like, this is Michael? Like, okay, like, not like then they start respecting you. Oh, how did you do it? This and that. And you're like, well, I was just doing me. I didn't care about what you think. And now you want to be like me.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the type of respect that I feel like is good to build, rather than like, oh, if this person finds out about this, they're not going to look at me right. Oh, who gives a shit about if they look at you right? Because when you have this, and this, and they don't have this, that, and this, it's like they're going to respect you for that,
I would say in my opinion, like, yes, you do kind of have to, like, I feel like you have to explain yourself a lot because people will always take those words and they're like, oh, like let's say, for example, today I got a car. And that car was a red car, and it was a nice car because I liked that car. And I liked that car. And it's like, oh, okay, you got that car. And you walk by, it's like, he got that car because he wanted to show off.
Yeah.
He got that car because his girlfriend wanted that car. He got that car because he wanted to feel like he was his dad. Like, they just say that, and then you hear the word go around later. It's like, oh, great. Now I got this story, people coming and telling me that I got this car because I wanted to prove something versus I just like the car.
Yeah, see, but that also, it always ends up circling back to like you caring about what people say about you. That's what it circles back to, like feeling like you need to tell your side of the story, because no matter what story you tell, on the other side, it's not going to register how you said it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
right,
not like when you, because like I said, it always circles around to what caring what people think. Like, oh yeah, he got that car because it's okay. So what if I got the car because I want to show off? That's me. Whatever. Yeah. If that's what you think, fine. Go sit there in your freaking Prius that you weigh half it down because your fat ass can't fit in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit here in my BMW. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever car.
That's how they are, though.
Yeah.
Like, they do that because they sit there like, yalla, oro ko Toyota. And they just sit there and they shit talk other people's choices.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they have this moral high ground to do it.
Yeah, and it's like, you'll never, ever, ever, ever satisfy
all of them.
Any of them.
Yeah, even. That is how it is, but that's our culture.
That's
how we're raised. That's how all people relate to.
I mean, yeah, and like overall, it's good and bad. I like everything.
Yeah.
It's good and bad. Would I rather be a different culture? No.
No.
I'm glad
that we're in our culture that we are.
I'm in my culture.
We just have some gripes and some pros and cons to it.
Exactly,
That's
but when you're outside looking in, it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
and you see what's happening, and like, yeah, this is not what I'm gonna be.
No.
You're gonna pick and choose almost.
Yeah, and you and I are kind of like in a very similar like situation. Like I'm pretty old school, and you're very new school.
Yeah.
So like we kind of like bounce off of like what we believe because we were both in the same culture, almost the same type of like lineage, but different perspectives.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah.
But that's chai time, though.
This is chai time.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
So thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
We got a lot more to come.
We have a lot more to come. Socials will be in the bio. Subscribe, like, follow the socials. This is Michael, Larson.
And we'll see you later.
We'll see you on the next episode.